Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. So I'm going to be sharing with y'all my top 5 makeup tips for women over 40. So I feel like a lot of us, when we get into this age group, or even when we're in like our mid 30s, we start to notice like some subtle changes that's happening with our skin. And then sometimes we're not even noticing anything changing yet, but we're just becoming more mindful of things like premature aging and maybe like overall skin health. And then sometimes just because we're getting a little older, our style preferences change. So we just want to make some changes to our makeup routine. Maybe we're starting to feel like a little more sophisticated and we want that to show through our makeup. Or maybe we're just looking for something like a more easygoing routine and we just, might want to change at this point, right? So these are just like some simple tips that we can incorporate into any makeup routine that'll be beneficial when we're thinking about stuff like premature aging, but it's also things that I think that can go along with like any type of style preference that we have. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into that, if you're here for the first time, hello and welcome, and thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole and I do makeup videos here, including some stuff like what we're doing today, some videos for us 40 and over makeup lovers, and here we call ourselves the Grown and Gorgeous crew. So if you're part of the crew, make sure you hashtag me in the comments, and also make sure you subscribe because I would love to have you join the channel and I would really appreciate your support. Okay y'all, let's jump right into it. So I feel like I can hear my chair kind of squeaking when I move a little bit, so I'm sorry if y'all can hear that. But anyway, I think everything on this list that we're going to be talking about today is important, but I did my best to go from my least important to my most important, so I'm going to go in that order. So as I'm going through, just let me know what y'all think in the comments, and of course if you have anything that you want to add to the list, let us know down below. So we're going to start off with tip number 5, which is to focus on your eye area when you're doing your makeup. So whether you're doing like a full face of makeup, or even if you're doing like a no makeup or like a barely there type of makeup look, if you focus on the eye area, that will just help your overall look. So let's first start with just talking about the brows for just a little bit. So you can wear your brows however you want. You can fill them in as much as you want. You can make them look like as dark or as light as you want. You can make them look as precise as you want. Just wear them to your liking, but I would say just overall make sure that your brows look groomed. So at the very least, you want to take a little spoolie just to like brush through the brow hairs, make sure that they look nice and groomed, and you might also want to use something like a brow gel to keep your brow hairs in place during the day, but you just want to make sure that your brows are groomed because they are going to frame your entire face. If you're going to be wearing eyeshadow, make sure that your eye makeup is nice and balanced, because if you're wearing eyeshadow and let's say eyeliner, mascara, maybe some lashes, and you have all of that going on your upper lids, and then you don't have anything on your lower lids, that can actually make your eyes look kind of top heavy. So just consider putting just a little bit of something on your lower lashes as well. So like for me, I have just a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes, and then I have a little bit of eyeshadow smudged out underneath. You can certainly put more makeup down there than what I have, but you just want to put something down there just to balance out the makeup that you have on your upper lids. And I would say just as important as the brows, if not more important, is your under eye area. So a lot of us have things like darkness under the eye, or maybe like some eye bags. So we could use something like a brightening concealer to help with this area. But even if you feel like your under eye situation is okay without makeup and you don't really have a lot going on, you can still use something just to add a little brightness to this area, because if you brighten up this part of the face, it helps with like the overall dimensions in your face, because again, this is the area where people are going to be looking at first when they see you. So like naturally, you're somebody looking at you, they're going to be drawn to the center of your face. So if you make this area just a little bit brighter, it'll help to just balance everything out. So just make sure that you're adding a little bit more focus to the eye area no matter what you're doing with your makeup for that day, and again, it'll just help to balance everything out on your face. So moving on to tip number 4. So we can definitely continue to use things like powders and matte finishes as we get older, but we definitely want to think about moisture and hydration for our skin. So just because you're of a certain age, that doesn't automatically mean that you have dry skin, because you could have dry or oily skin at literally like any age. But one of the things that we do tend to notice as we get older is that our skin is not retaining as much moisture as it used to. So I think not just with our skincare skincare, but also with our makeup, it's good to help aid the skin with moisture retention like where we can. So I wanted to give y'all 3 different foundation options if you're looking for other options, different things to like add to your collection, ones that I think are really nice and hydrating, but they also kind of stick out in my mind if someone were to ask me for a foundation recommendation for people who have maturing skin. So I just wanted to give y'all some options from 3 different price ranges. So the first one is the Pat McGrath foundation, and it's the one that I'm wearing today. Yes, this is pricey, but I think it's very worth it. This one sticks out for maturing skin because it's very liquidy, very hydrating, but it builds up really easily on your face. So you can put just a little bit of this on to get like a good amount of coverage. And the next one, so skin tints have been all the rage this summer, and one of my favorites is the Fenty Beauty skin tint. This one is, I believe, $29.50. So this one is good for people who have maturing skin, but if you feel like you have like normal to maybe oily skin, because this one is not like as glowy as some other skin tints that I have tried out, but it's still really nice and hydrating for the skin. And just like with the Pat McGrath foundation, this one builds up really nicely as well. And then if you want something that's really cheap but really good, you should try the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This one is only $6, and it's one of the best skin tints that I have tried this year. And if you still feel like you would prefer a powder foundation, one of my favorite ones when I think about like different things that we might be going through with, you know, maturing skin, one of my favorite ones is the Fenty Beauty powder foundation, because just like with the 3 liquid ones that I just showed y'all, this powder foundation builds up really easily without you having to pack a whole lot of makeup onto the skin. So the same thing would apply for other things like blushes and highlighters. I mean, you can certainly use like powder ones that have like a matte finish, but if you think about using some like liquid formulas, a liquid blush, a liquid highlighter, like anything that's liquidy is just going to help to add hydration to your skin. And if you're dealing with any type of texture, things that come in liquid or cream form, they're just going to lay better over texture as opposed to something that has a powdery finish. So moving on to tip number 3, this kind of ties into what we were just talking about, especially with the foundation recommendations that I just gave y'all. But tip number 3 is less is more. I feel like that's like the rule of thumb when it comes to makeup for maturing skin. Our skin is just not as thick as it used to be back in the day. Our skin literally thins out as we get older, not to the point where we can like really notice it, but our skin does get thinner as we get older, so we don't want to keep packing products onto our face. So going back to those 4 foundation recommendations that I just gave to you, all of them are ones that will give you a good amount of coverage without you having to put a whole lot of makeup onto your face. So just because less is more, that doesn't mean that you can't wear full coverage foundation, for instance, if that's what you want to do. If you do want full coverage, you just want to pick a product that will give you the amount of coverage that you want without you having to put a whole lot of the product on your face. So if you know for a fact that you want full coverage, just go for a full coverage foundation. Or with some of the ones that I showed you here today, if you feel like you want something that's more of like a buildable formula, which I love foundations that can build up. You want ones that can build up from say like a medium to a full coverage without you having to put a whole lot more on to get from medium to full, because we really want to be mindful of just how much stuff we're putting on our face. So the same thing applies with like blush and let's say eyeshadow. Let's say you like to have your blush to be really prominent on your face, like you really like a lot of blush on your face. That's fine, but you might want to pick a blush that's really pigmented so that you can only put a little bit of it on and it still look really nice and prominent. Same thing with our eyeshadow, especially because the skin around our eyes is really delicate. If you love for your eyeshadow to look like really pigmented, really colorful, really impactful, just go for like really pigmented eyeshadow so that you can get that level of pigment that you want with being able to use very little product. But especially when it comes to the complexion products, our foundations, our concealers, products that are going to be like over most of the area of our face, we just want to be mindful of how much stuff we're putting on. We don't want to pack on a whole lot of makeup onto our our face, especially if you're wearing makeup every single day. Okay, so we're down to my last 2 tips, my most important tips for makeup for women over 40. And tip number 2, skincare is way more important than makeup. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why isn't that tip number 1? Well, I'll tell y'all when we get to tip number 1, but my number 2 tip is skincare is way more important than any makeup routine. If you don't have a good skincare routine and you're constantly putting makeup on top of skin that's not very well prepped, very well cared for, your skin is going to pay the price, and you're going to have a really hard time and a really long time to get your skin to bounce back from that. So you want to make sure that you have a thorough skincare routine. A thorough skincare routine starts with, for those of us who wear makeup, it starts with properly removing the makeup from your face. So you want to make sure that you are thoroughly removing your makeup before you even think about cleansing the face, even though we call that double cleansing. But you want to make sure all the makeup is off your face before you go in with your facial cleanser. So I know a lot of people like to use these makeup wipes. I use these for like swatches and stuff when I'm doing videos, but I do not like using these to remove makeup from my face because they just don't do a good enough job. So I don't have my cleansing oil in front of me, but I'll put up my favorite cleansing oil. I'll put up a picture if you're interested, but I'm a fan of using cleansing oils or cleansing balms because they can get like really deep down into the crevices of your skin, especially if you have like any fine lines or wrinkles or like texture on your skin. They can get deep down into that, as opposed to something like a makeup wipe. A makeup wipe is just going to wipe the surface of your face, and one wipe is just not going to get all the makeup off. But whatever you're using to remove your makeup, you just want to make sure that you are removing all of the makeup off your face every single day. And then you want to go in and properly cleanse your face, and then properly moisturize and hydrate your face. And another part of a thorough skincare routine is to make sure that you are cleansing and moisturizing twice a day. So you want to do it every day and every night. And another part of a thorough skincare routine that a lot of people still don't incorporate is to use sunscreen. You should be using sunscreen on your face every single day, even if you're not going outside. You want to make it a habit of putting sunscreen on your face every morning, and don't rely on the sunscreen that's in your makeup. You want to put sunscreen on underneath your makeup every single day. Okay, we're down to my number 1 tip. So let me know in the comments what you think my number 1 tip is, because I feel like a lot of people might have thought that it was going to be skincare. So let me know what you think it is. But my number 1 makeup tip for us 40 and over makeup lovers is to be confident and comfortable in our own skin. So it feels really good when we get compliments on our makeup from other people, especially like other makeup lovers or maybe other people that we think are more skilled at makeup than us, because I know that makes me feel really good. But I'm doing my makeup at the end of the day for my own satisfaction above everyone else. So I want to make sure that when I look in the mirror, whether I'm wearing makeup or not, that I'm comfortable with what I see, I'm confident in who I see, and I'm happy with what I see. So that, I feel like, is the ultimate goal. I think it's okay to wear makeup for things like I have acne prone skin, and I like wearing makeup because it allows me to have like more even skin tone, to be able to cover up some acne scarring if I want to look a bit more polished maybe. But I think those types of things are okay, but you don't want to fall in the trap of feeling like you have to wear makeup in order to feel beautiful. Like, you should feel beautiful whether you have on makeup or not. You don't want to fall into the trap of feeling like you have to wear makeup for the sake of other people having to look at you, because if they don't like what they see, that's their problem. You want to make sure that you are comfortable with what you see when you look in the mirror. So that is my number 1 tip. I feel like that's most important out of everything that we talked about today, is being comfortable and confident in your own skin. So let me know what y'all think about these tips for today. I hope that they were really helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.